Good morning. Now, first of all, you guys should know that it is super, super hard for me to choose a name for a video because I'm so distracted, and I usually have like 53,000 thoughts running through my head at the same time. So we are going to talk about why you should choose good meat, but we're probably going to talk about like 8,000 other things too. So I just finished, these are the sausage patties I made the other day, and so we're having those for breakfast. So again, those have spinach chopped up in them, which we don't really have a problem eating spinach, and my kids don't have a problem eating spinach, but it's actually quite a bit easier to just throw it in there and then have it ready to go. So anyway, I just finished that. I'm going to chop up some potatoes that we baked yesterday and do potatoes also with our breakfast. But I wanted to talk to you about the meat thing because I alluded to this the other day, and then I didn't actually finish what I was saying. I'm throwing potatoes around, you guys. All right, so let me read to you a little blurb about why it's important that you buy good quality meat. You ready? Okay. In 2009, 35 million pounds of antibiotics were used in the United States. A whopping 70% of those antibiotics went to pigs, chickens, and cows. What meat do we mostly eat? In our house, it's pigs, chickens, and cows. This overuse of antibiotics, according to the Associated Press, has led to a plague of drug-resistant infections that killed more than 65,000 people in the U.S. last year. So this was 2008. More than prostate and breast cancer combined. 13% of the antibiotics administered to animals are simply for the purpose of making them grow faster. This over-medicating of animals has resulted in killer antibiotic-resistant strains of malaria, tuberculosis, and staph. So this goes on. So I got that out of one of my reference books, but I went ahead and pulled the original article. I'll try to link that below if I remember. The story is actually really interesting. There's a man who gets, let me think of how it's worded. Okay, so he gets gored by this boar, he's a pig farmer, in the knee, and, you know, takes just like normal precautions and figures it'll be fine, and it gets worse and worse, and he can't find a medication that will take care of this problem that he has. And ultimately, what they find out discovering is that he is resistant to multiple antibiotics, as are his pigs, and it's the same antibiotics, because not only has he been working with these pigs, he's of course eating his own pigs, which are being given all these antibiotics. It's disgusting, yeah. So now what we have are a series of continuing to morph infections that we can't get rid of with medication. And a large reason that this is happening is because of what we're doing with our meat. We don't take a preventative antibiotic as people because we know that's not good for us. We know that it's not necessary, and we know that, of course, it leads to other infections and bigger and badder bacteria. So we don't do it. So why are we doing it to our animals? I'll tell you why we're doing it to our animals, because we're cramming them in little tiny spaces and they're always touching each other, and we're just not treating them with respect. I don't care that much about animals. I believe God put the animals here for us to eat, but I do not think we need to cram them into tiny spaces. I wasn't actually planning on getting on a soapbox, but y'all are here, so here we go. I don't think that we need to treat them that way, cram them into tiny spaces to the point that they are constantly transferring disease to each other, and then we're forced to do this antibiotic regimen. It's disgusting, and it's so unhealthy. So, like I said previously, we buy our meat from a farmer here in Indiana, and they deliver all over like Indiana and parts of Illinois, I think, and we really enjoy them. But there, of course, are good organic farmers all over, and I would definitely recommend you look into that. If you can't afford to do all organic, like we cannot afford to do all organic, I highly suggest considering doing your meat first. And organic is not the same as natural. If you go to the store and the meat says natural, that's not the same. This is another benefit that buying from a company where you can actually go to the farm and see what they're doing with the animals is really, really beneficial, because do we know what Tyson is doing with their natural chickens? I don't. Maybe you guys know. Link me up if you know what Tyson is doing with their natural chicken. So antibiotics is huge. I'm not even going to really get into the whole hormone thing, but we're also feeding our animals hormones, which are staying in the animals, which then we're feeding to our family, including our children. And we have our kids developing at a faster rate than they ever have before, because we're giving them all these hormones in the meat that they're eating. And not just the meat, the milk, all the dairy, anything that comes from an animal. So especially things that we're eating that are fatty. Good organic meat, fat, is actually really good for you. It's a good fat for your body. The fat that we're getting commercially prepared, like the bacon at the store, is the worst meat that you can eat, because the fat is where our bodies store toxins. So an animal functions in the same way. If the animal's given a bunch of antibiotics, or if they're given a bunch of hormones, or if they're given a bunch of anything garbage, it's going to be stored in their fat. And then we go to the store and we love bacon because it's delicious and it's all fat. And so what you're doing is you're taking the most toxic part of the pig and cooking it for breakfast and feeding it to your family. It's gross. So anyway, so I encourage you to look into the meat that you're eating and perhaps consider starting there, because in my opinion, and I know in the opinion of other people, it's really one of the most important changes that you can make. So another thing is you can't really wash meat. Like, you can wash produce and get some of the pesticides off if you're buying non-organic produce, but you really can't like wash meat. It's all kind of ingrained, literally ingrained. So for breakfast we're doing the sausage that I made the other day. So that lasted us 3 days. I got, usually our family does like 2 pounds of meat at a time, but I managed to get 3 pounds of sausage for 3 different days. So I just pattied them all up with the spinach and the seasonings and threw them in the fridge that way. And then what we've done a couple of times this month, which has been really, I don't know why I've never thought of this before, is we've started baking up a bunch of potatoes at one time. So you're turning the oven on anyway, you might as well use the energy wisely, especially when it's hot outside, and put as much as you can in there at the same time. So we've been baking up a bunch of potatoes, and then it's so much easier for breakfast or lunch if you want to chop them and throw them in a skillet to reheat them, or if you want to put them back in the oven, you can too. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll get it. So anyway, so we're doing breakfast potatoes on the skillet. I might have to cut another one. We'll see how hungry these kids are. And then we're doing the sausage, and then we'll probably do some fruit because we were low on vegetables again. Oops, sorry. Again, I was going to go to the store last night, and then my husband worked late, and so then I didn't want to go to the store. So anyway, that's what we're doing for breakfast. And then for dinner, oh, let's talk about this real quick. So crock pots, they're super nice, and they are like the worst thing in the world to clean, right? I think they are. If you're using the plastic liners in your crock pots, they're probably a lot easier to clean, but you're also probably eating plastic, so watch that. So anyway, we don't use the plastic liners, and I'll turn you over here to where my dirty kitchen is. So what I do with my crock pot after I use it is I empty out, mine's still a little hot. Oh, it's not that hot. So I empty out whatever we just ate, and then do a good rinse And I throw in like maybe a quarter cup of baking soda. And sometimes a little bit of lemon juice or like a tiny little squirt of dish soap. And then I just put it back in the crock thing, the electric part. And I turn it on overnight. And it's like the easiest. It's so great. So of course they make crock pots white so you can see all the staining. And I don't really care about the staining, but it's like the little food particles that get stuck on there that I find so annoying. Also, we don't really want to eat yesterday's dinner again today, like from the crock pot. So anyway, so that's how I clean my crock pot. I would love to hear if anybody has a better solution because I'm totally on board with that. So anyway, my crock pot's clean. So for dinner tonight, look, I'm putting the water in first this time so I don't forget. So smart. So for tonight, we're having a roast and carrots because that's almost all the produce that we have in our house. Really have to go to the store. We'll probably chop up some of these baked potatoes. Actually, what I'll probably do, and we just found this. I don't even know why I did this, but do you want to peel those carrots for me, please?
Yeah.
What I just found the other day was really yummy is if you're making a baked potato and you like slice it into, like keep it as a potato, but slice almost all the way down to the bottom, and then olive oil over the top and salt over that. So good. Everything gets all crispy and delicious. So anyway, these have already been baked, so that means that we can still do that, but it won't take as long. And that's probably what we'll do as a side, because again, I need to go to the grocery store. So, so we're doing a roast. All of them. So we're doing a roast and carrots, and we're doing peeled carrots and baby carrots because that's what we have. So our roasts are usually close to 2 pounds. These are from the same place where we get almost all of our other meat. And I'm literally just going to throw it in the crock pot with the carrots on the bottom. So you want to put the vegetables on the bottom because they take a little bit longer to cook. So the longer your vegetable takes to cook, the further down it should be in your crock pot. So if you're doing potatoes and carrots, they're probably pretty similar. I usually throw the carrots on the bottom because typically they take a little bit longer to cook. Can you open this, please? And then on top of my roast, sometimes if I'm feeling super ambitious, I put onions on top. I'm not feeling super ambitious today, so I'm just probably going to put onion flakes on it. And that'll be dinner. So we have a home group on Thursday nights, and if I can have dinner prepared in the morning, that's super, super helpful. So, oh, I didn't season my potatoes yet. You guys are distracting me. Yeah, it's almost done. Why don't you find some fruit to have with our breakfast, okay, buddy?
I'll get some apples.
So, okay, well, I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to talk you through the meat situation. So, I'm going to put a link to that article below this video. Someone remind me if I forget to do that because I'm obviously in the middle of making breakfast. So yeah, I'll put a link to that under here so you guys can read it. And then this afternoon, assuming that all goes as planned, which really never happens around here, I'm wanting to do, I forgot what I'm doing. This is dangerous. I'm planning to do a short little video on the differences in quality among essential oils. So I mentioned this yesterday in my video. If you saw this yesterday, I think it was in the afternoon, I did a video, and I said that I really, really thought that was hype. When I first got involved in essential oils, I thought, okay, that's ridiculous. Oils are oils are oils. But they're actually not, and I've been doing some research on this, and so I just want to share it with you so that you have that education. So anyway, so that's all. We will see you later, probably around 2 o'clock. I'll try to post what time I'm planning to do the video, if I think of it. Usually around 2 is when my kids are like settled for naps, and we have a little bit of a break from school. So we'll plan to see you later. Have a great day.